I stayed at the Hilton Garden Inn Hotel in Singapore in March of this year, and in this video I'm going to review every aspect, from the room to the breakfast to the on-site gym. The Hilton Garden Inn in Singapore is located in Serangoon, close to Little India. Not the most central, but not too far either. The entrance is nice but unassuming, and there's a 7-Eleven just round the corner from it, should you need to pick up any snacks or amenities during your stay. Around the hotel are a number of attractions for you to see, from temples to shops to restaurants serving delicious Indian food. The hotel itself is about a 5-minute walk from the MRT station, which is Singapore's subway. On this trip, I was assigned a room on the 13th floor. I don't believe this is an unlucky number in Singapore, so there was no qualms about giving it to me. I was assigned room 1309, which is a non-smoking room. The room itself was well lit and pleasantly appointed, and came with a king-size bed. Whilst not overly large, you do need to remember this is a major city, so it was perfectly sized for what I needed it for. The bed and the pillows were very comfortable, and I had a good night's sleep. The room also featured this little chair to the side, although I'll be honest with you, it's somewhat awkwardly placed, and so I didn't really use it during my stay. There's also a small ledge here to the left, although as you'll note, the majority of the window is frosted over. This is because the room faced the Singapore President's residence. I didn't know, but apparently it's a requirement, but you're not allowed to view this, so my view was limited to this little slat here. Somewhat of a shame, but not the end of the world. The wall was decorated in this nice pattern. Not sure exactly what it is, but it looked pleasant enough. On either side of the bed were universal plug sockets, as well as a USB Type-A connector to charge your phone at night. The lighting was reasonably easy to understand and came with a master off switch to turn everything off when you're ready to go to bed. The telephone was a little bit old-fashioned, but really all I used it for was to call down to reception. Also in the room was a small desk for you to work off of. This was just right-sized for somebody to catch up on emails, and there were again a number of sockets, universal, either side of it, to charge laptops, iPads, anything else you really needed. The room came with an ironing board and an iron, which is useful for anybody on a business trip or just needs to freshen up their clothing. There was a little safe to the side as well. This is a fairly standard safe and was well sized to take my laptop. They also provided a pair of slippers which were replenished during the stay. The minibar was empty when I arrived. Those 2 juice cartons are mine. It was a decent size and got anything you placed in it nice and cold. Also provided was tea and coffee, as well as various sugars and sweeteners. This was a little disappointing. They only provided 2 sachets of Nescafe Classic. This is a fairly poor coffee and didn't taste that good. I had to add a lot of sweetener to it to make it drinkable. Also provided was a fairly standard hot water kettle, but heated up in about a medium length of time. This room only had a shower, although it did come with a detachable shower head. They also used own branded bottles. These were segregated into body wash, shampoo and conditioner, and were very pleasant to use. The bathroom was a reasonable size, although not large. The cleaning staff did a good job of cleaning it every day, and anything that I needed was replenished. Let's go take a look at breakfast now, shall we? The breakfast was very good. There was a wide variety of pastries, cereals, fruits, as well as hot dishes, such as omelettes that you could make to order. The cuisine included Western items, Chinese items, and Indian items. One thing I particularly enjoyed was the Singapore laksa. This is as close to Singapore's national dish as you can get, and was absolutely delicious. At breakfast, they also had a coffee machine that freshly ground the coffee and could make a variety of things such as lattes or espressos. This certainly made up for the coffee provided in the room, and I made sure to have my coffee down here instead of upstairs. This is the view just outside of breakfast. Really quite nice in the morning. When you head outside of the breakfast area, around the corner, there's a small laundry facility for you to use during your stay. This was quite pricey, as you had to buy tokens for each use, which worked out to about 10 Singapore dollars for both a wash and again for a dry. Not cheap, but a lot cheaper than getting it done using the hotel's own laundry facilities. The hotel also had this moderately sized swimming pool. Not the most attractive of swimming pools in Singapore, although it did come with a lovely view and was very quiet most of the time. Bearing in mind this was a Hilton Garden Inn, which is one of Hilton's lower end brands, this pool was perfectly adequate. The TV in the room featured a wide variety of channels, although unfortunately it didn't have HBO, which is one of my favourites whenever I stay away. To make up for this though, you could connect any of your devices to the TV and cast things like Netflix or Hulu or anything else you want to watch. The hotel gym was one of the highlights here. It had pretty much every kind of machine you could reasonably expect to use in a hotel gym, as well as a good variety of free weights and weight machines. It was quiet most of the time and air-conditioned lovely, given Singapore's high heat. I paid about 250 Singapore dollars per night for this stay, which is roughly 200 US dollars, give or take 10. This is very reasonably priced for a Singapore hotel, and I wouldn't hesitate to stay here again.